Good. And yourself? Good. Uh-huh. I don't know if I'll be able to make that or not. I'll have to talk to my other. Oh, you're going to go to high school too?
Yeah, we've done it there the last couple of years, I think. So much easier. Because I don't have to worry about all the furniture here. So,
Anyways, I'm gonna have her do all, most of the teaching on Friday. And the sub will be there,
Yeah.
so.
I've never won one. Oh, it's December or January. And then I did get to go to Bingo night, and then COVID shut everything down, so like.
What is wrong with you
That was the
guys?
one thing that I got to like.
Terrible.
Kind of be a part of, I won't hold bingo with.
You used
But it was fun.
And
And then we didn't have bingo.
Friday or Saturday?
Saturday.
Saturday.
Not Sunday.
Take this one.
COVID
I'm
doesn't,
Figure it out.
that with her.
COVID upset the apple.
Or I can. I will.
Okay.
All set? All right, call the, it's the 27th, all right, wow. For a change right in front of me now. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States. All right, thank you everybody for coming tonight. We'll start off with, I'll entertain a motion for approval of the agenda.
So moved.
It's been moved, and I think I heard a second there. Any discussion on any of the agenda items? Discussion on any of the agenda items? All right, all those in favor of approving the agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, motion passes. Now on to comments and suggestions from citizens. Is there anybody in the audience tonight? Shoni, I'm mainly looking at you, I guess. And if you would like to speak or talk to us, you have
Oh,
3
no,
minutes.
I'm good. I just appreciate the fact you guys stop out and business with us like this.
All right.
And no students, Mark, it must be first of the semester,
It
right?
is.
There you
Yes.
go. Nobody's in a hurry.
Items have not been loaded in the canvas.
That's
yet,
right.
so, all right. All right. All right, so if anybody online, again, there's a form and you can submit questions or you can always email any of us, so. All right, on to consent agenda.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
It's been motion and second, sorry. Anyway, any discussion on the items in the consent agenda? All right, all those in favor of approving consent agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, motion passes. Now on to recognitions, Joe.
All right, so we have several honors bands to recognize. We have the SEBA Honors Band, Mason Burnett, Rachel Erickson, Pacey Kane, Curtis Overberg, Goodrich, and Tegan Schmidt for the Honors Concert Band and the Honors Jazz Band, Nathan Anderson, Zach McMahon, Colin Meinert, and Blake Miguel. They were given that. And we have the Iowa State Honors Band, and that's Mason Burnett, Keelan Gamet, Zach McMahon, Blake Miguel, Curtis Overberg, Goodrick, and Tegan Schmidt. So congratulations to them. Then we have the University of Iowa's Honors Band, and that is Mason Burnett, Keelan Gamet, Colin Meinert, and Tegan Schmidt. So congratulations to all of our band kids for their recognitions and selections.
Awesome. I'm sure some long days associated with all that.
Yeah.
All right, now on to bills. Jill?
This evening, we have $1,357,701 worth of bills for approval for payment. A couple to highlight include a payment to Teamworks for $4,576. That's a partial payment for our strategic plan process that we're going through. There's a payment to West Music for $6,521 for new instruments, a handful of new instruments, and music stands at the junior high for their new space. And a payment to Computer Information Concepts for $76,528, and that's our annual Infinite Campus renewal. This comes due at an odd time of year. Thank you.
I move that we pay the bills.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion or questions for Jill on the bills?
Is that Infinite Campus, do you know if we had any upgrades or anything to that for the, because I know we just went to that, right?
Correct. 2 years ago.
Was that just last year?
I think
Or
it's
has it been 2
2
years?
2 years. 2 years ago.
Did we get anything new as far as part of that?
I'd have to
$76,000?
check with Deanne.
Okay.
But
I don't think
it's
so.
several
I don't know if there would be any
subscriptions.
upgrades.
I haven't
one
seen
thing,
anything.
but, Just asking.
Sorry.
On the Teamworks, was that the first, you said first installment?
Yeah.
Okay, how many do we have? Or do we know?
It was
It'd
an
be
est-
31?
33 or whatever, I off my head, but about 30,000, so
So about eight, I
that's
guess.
1/6 of it.
which is kind of an estimate based on, I think, travel
Travel
and
and
stuff.
stuff,
We won't know
so, yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Approximately
So it'll be
30,000.
different amounts, but on
Mhm.
average divide it out by
Yeah.
8 months or something
Yeah,
like that.
yep.
Okay.
Call for the question. We have ordered.
I know we have another
Okay.
I thought I had another question.
Okay,
I-
sorry.
So, no, you're good.
Yeah, silence.
All those in favor of approving the bills, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, bills are approved. On to committee reports.
So just the health insurance in
Insurance.
there, I would just point out that we have a really good renewal, 2.9, we're really estimating to be 2.5% renewal. But the thing that was different this year is the reinsurance actually came down. And the advantage of the reinsurance is with Blue Cross Blue Shield, their reinsurance market is just the healthcare versus reinsurance for like our auto and all of that is part of like casual or property and stuff. All the disasters impact those reinsurance companies where the disasters, the fires, the hurricanes, none of those really impacted Blue Cross Blue Shield because it's just healthcare reinsurance. So we actually went down for the first time in a long time. So very good renewal.
Any questions on that? Thanks, Joe. Ms. Payson, I think we're on to the John Glenn report.
All right.
Thanks for hosting us again.
Absolutely, thank you for being here. So I have my fearless team with me, and I would like to announce that they are my favorite teachers for helping out tonight, and I also want to acknowledge Sam Nichols for putting together our presentation with the contributions of the whole staff. So we really wanted to share with you one of our biggest strengths, which is the ways in which it's something that we pride ourselves in. I have always said when thinking about my experience first coming into John Glenn, from the second I stepped in this door, there was one thing that was clear and it's never wavered, and that is the absolute love that every staff member has for every single student that walks through our doors. So we just have a lot to celebrate, and we wanted to share that with you, just some of the ways we build connections. So again, this is our overall introduction, but as we were reflecting and getting ready for our presentation this evening, we also thought about the ways in which our connections really set the foundation for everything else that we end up doing. It's because of the foundations and the connections and the relationships that we have, the with our students, with our families, that builds that trust and enables us to have those difficult conversations when the time comes, and it enables us to push our students. And so these four are just going to highlight some of the very special things that we do. So I will let them introduce themselves.
Hi, I'm Clint Fredericks. I teach second grade.
I'm Megan Delaney, I teach pre-K.
I'm Vinnie Smith, I teach third grade.
And I'm Shelley Thompson, I teach first grade. The most effective practices for improving attendance are through creating a culture of attendance by taking a positive, not punitive approach to absenteeism that is centered on belonging and engagement. This past December, our building leadership team did a data drive into our attendance data, and we have a lot to celebrate. When looking at our data, we like to keep in mind what we are doing or what we are not doing to impact that data. And our positive engagement and our strategic partnerships are proof that what we are doing is working. So we would just like to share some of those different experiences with you.
Okay.
So one thing that we are able to do in our building is we do a lot of buddy interaction between grade levels. And these pictures will highlight just a couple of those. So one thing that we do, we pair up first and fifth graders. We do book buddies, we do STEM projects. The fifth grade comes down and helps us edit our writing. That's the first picture you see with our buddies from first and fifth. But we do other things throughout the building. It's not just with first and fifth. So I will let you talk a little bit about that.
And we do the same thing. Here's second and fourth grade. We do a book buddy program. And what it is Mrs. Irwin and I pair up our students, and then the fourth graders interview the second graders and ask them what they love to read about and things like that. Fourth graders then go to the library, pick out books, and then on Fridays we usually meet for 15 to 20 minutes. They share their books. They love to share what they're reading, connections they've made, and just build a great relationship. Here's a picture of third grade and kindergarten. Here the kindergartners made a mat. The third graders were getting ready for ISASP testing. So they made this mat for them when they walked in. They could walk over it and see what was written on it. And then each kindergartner wrote a message to a third grader. They even sang a song to the third graders, and they even gave a high five right before their testing, just to motivate them to do their best on the test.
And what's nice about that is that was like pre-K and sixth, they're not picture, but they also do these things.
Sure.
But all of the primary kids did that for the upper grade kids during ISASP or any other special thing that's going on. And what we really love about that is it gives the big kids that maybe don't always shine in everything an opportunity to shine sometimes, being a mentor to the little kids. And some of the kids you would never expect would take that on are the absolute best ones with the little kids. It is just such an interesting and fun opportunity. And to get to see those kids that I once had in a totally different light and how they've changed. And it really is amazing, but it also gives the big kids, or the little kids, sorry, such a good role model and examples and something to look forward to. In fact, we sometimes will earn like class celebrations and they pick having their fifth grade buddies come and do something. They don't even care what. Like we can read to them, we don't care. We just want to be with them just because it's such a nice bonding opportunity, and then it builds that relationship throughout the building, like, hey, that's my buddy, and then they kind of break out of their shell. And it's kind of fun. So another area is our student council. So our student council has a variety of kiddos on it from different grade levels. These are some of the big things that they have done. The blanket project, which takes place in the winter right before Christmas, making blankets for those community members who have served as volunteers or who have come into the classroom or hold a special place in John Glenn's heart. This fall we had our big food drive. We were super excited about that. We kind of made it a competition between the classes, and we had grocery carts that they could fill. And our student council really took on that role of leading that and collaborating with Donahue to fill the blessing box, and they just took a lot of leadership and pride in that. A couple things that are not listed on here that our student council has done recently. In the spring, we did a big fundraiser for Hugh Harvey, our kiddo that is battling cancer right now. They made little ribbons for everybody as a donation to the family.
They do a sunshine cart for staff in the spring as well, which is always very fun. And then probably my favorite, positive affirmation signs. So they stand out when our buses pull up in the morning, when our kids get dropped off to school, with just really positive signs that, you know, we're glad you're here, you're welcome here, all of those types of things. So.
Another initiative we've done is with our Rotary. So the North Scott Rotary Club meets with us, we plan a schedule, and they come and read to pre-K, kindergarten, first, second, and even up into the older grades because we have such a good turnout. So here you see Mr. Studying is so happy he finally finished his book. So nice job there. Another program that I do in second grade is called My Mystery Reader. And here we have a grandparent that came and read to our class. And what I do is I select dates. Parents, grandparents, family members can sign up, and then they send me 5 clues about themselves, and my kids do not know they're coming. So I read those clues, and hopefully when I'm done, one of the students says, oh, that's my grandma, that's my grandpa, and then they meet in the hallway, they come in, they read their book, we ask them questions, how they serve the community and things like that. So that's just a great thing that we do, and I'm gonna tell you, my schedule is filled up all the way till April, so they love to do that. Mrs. Payson, I think you were going to talk about FFA.
Absolutely. So another community partnership that we have is with the City of Donahue and also the FFA at the high school. So these red planners you will see now in the summertime around the City of Donahue. A couple years ago they were purchased and our art teacher worked with students to put every single student's handprint on one of these red potters. Then our 5th grade class has made it a tradition to go to the fire station, work with FFA to plant every season, and then they are taken throughout the City of Donahue for the whole summer, and the kids get to watch them grow and bloom, and it's just a really great visual example of how, you know, our students' fingerprints in our school is really embedded in this community. So that's another really special connection that I feel we have.
One thing we really love to do is work hard, but then we celebrate those big achievements our kids do, all the way from pre-K up to 6. These two are just 2 small snippets of that happening. The first one was the kindergarten and pre-K? Yeah, just kindergarten. Okay, kindergarten. They got to do an alphabet fashion show, and they paraded through the entire school. So all the outfit, it was absolutely adorable. And then this one is in 1st grade, and we do a big series. They write a whole series. They write a whole book series in 1st grade in the spring. Then we do a reader's theater to practice fluency and phrasing, and then we invite their families in because, of course, can my mom come? Of course, can my, so they all come. And then we invite our 5th grade buddies too. And it's a really big deal for the kids because they know it's a big deal that they've worked really hard. They made a whole series of books. They got up and performed in theater. But our other grades do the state parade where they do floats. The 5th grade has done, I want to say it's like a geometry zoo. They do their history museum in, or no, it's a research, I think it's Expert Expo in 6th grade, where we invite our families to come in to see that hard work and let those kids know that we all think it's important. It's not just your teacher making you do this, but the other kids come from the building, their families come, I mean grandparents, aunts and uncles, some of my former students, but they all come. It's a big deal. So we really think it's important to celebrate all of the hard work and things they're doing.
One of the coolest things about this fashion show, besides the dancing that Mrs. Mano was rocking, all the kids also lined the hallways as they did this, and to watch the big kids cheering on the little kids for learning their letters and letter sounds, and just to watch the pride in the little students and watching the 6th graders like hype them up and everything, it was really awesome.
So we've shared a number of examples where we're such a welcoming community. And one of the things that we know about young people with disabilities is the school system, their world becomes very small. Their opportunity to socialize, their opportunity to find gainful employment, to practice their social skills, all of a sudden fall off a cliff. Well, we have a program here where we have a young individual who reads in He's my son, I just have to tell you. But anyways, Peter is a young adult with autism, and he has lots of limitations, but he is a talented reader. So he goes into schools and he reads to children. So he comes into John Glenn, he's been doing this for a number of years. He reads to a group of about 40 students and practices his social skills. But we think about this as he's giving something to us. But what happens is when that individual walks in this door, they have to report their name, they have to sign in, they have to interact with people. They're doing things to gain those social skills that are so critical for lifelong support in this community. And one of the things that is the unexpected outcome from this, and I see this every time that this happens, is that our kids learn it's the ability, not the disability. And so then when they have problems, when they struggle, when they face a challenge, we can leverage that. We find that's empowering, and we can say to our kids, remember, you have as many talents as you have challenges, and to use that for their potential. So that's one of our outcomes that we never expected, right? Another unexpected outcome we had was a number of years ago, about 10 years ago, we had a student in 3rd grade who needed a strong male influence in his life. And we talked about who could we get in to come into the classroom and to work with this young man. And we knew that here in North Scott, one of our residents in Eldridge was a former educator. And he had just retired from many, many years of service to education. So we asked him if he'd like to come in and do this. Well, he's been doing it now for weekly for 10 years, and so that's our Mr. Chuck. And he's become our 3rd grade writing coach and mentor. So he comes into the classroom, he knows what we've been teaching now in 3rd grade. He can zero in on different kids. He just has that innate ability to understand who needs what, how to support them, how to get them to feel successful as a writer. But he also now, he's aged a little bit, and he has that grandfatherly touch too. And so he's there, you know, making connections in the classroom. And he came in to think about what he could do for us, but this winter, he and his wife both experienced some physical health challenges. And unexpectedly, he was a recipient this year of our blanket program from the Student Council. And he said he had never, ever felt such incredible, genuine kindness extended towards him and his wife. So he's back, and he'll be back tomorrow, but he really is invested in our community. But he's one of our community, you know, and he's giving back. So all of these meaningful connections totally impact our student learning. Our kids want to come, not because of all the individuals in the building, but they have that sense of belonging, which is essential. If you want students to learn, they have to feel like they want to show up every day and belong here. And we've just highlighted some of the things that we foster. We know that our Grandparents' Day, our Spirit Days, our expert visits, our Read Across America Week, our 100th-day celebration coming up next, at the end of the next week, right?
At the end of the week.
This week. It's been so many days. Our partnership with the Donahue Fire Department. All of these things make children want to come to school, want to be here and belong. And for that, we are so excited to share this with you tonight and highlight what we think is just one of the special parts of John Glenn. So thank you, and questions that you have?
I'm just so excited about you guys. You know, not only do you do all these things, and how exciting for our kiddos, but you see the enthusiasm in you guys' faces and talk and your expressions. And I know it's that way throughout the whole staff, and it's great to be a kiddo at John Glenn. So thanks for all you do. This is above and beyond kind of things, but I know you're doing it all the time for those kids. I was a recipient of the blanket too, and I saw the love when they got off that bus. It's like, I made them come up to the barn with me. They go, who lives here? I go, me, I'm gonna move in. But I mean, just fabulous what you guys are doing. The love in your hearts. Thank you so much.
My mom was a recipient too of
I know she was.
tears, I mean, just
I know.
the community feeling. She
Sure
was-
you.
She,
Sure.
both of us, when I saw the video.
It was- I heard it was
So,
too.
no, it's really a neat thing.
So they were connecting a lot of that to learning. The other thing they could have easily done, their last 2-3 years worth of data has gone way, the student success of academics parallels this.
Yes.
So their
Yes.
attendance and their success.
Yeah.
I think that's right.
And so that's something you guys would be really proud of, because I think it's the last 3 years, I can't remember how long we look back, Eric, but in this building. It's been growth, so it's.
That that is darling. I love the whole thing. Now, what is the sunshine cart? What does that mean?
Okay, the sunshine
It's
cart.
awesome.
So,
Brings
that is
back
awesome.
sunshine.
So in the spring, our student council, during Teacher Appreciation Week typically, they put together a sunshine cart. And so it has lots of snacks and drinks and just candy and all the things that we don't need. But and they walk around and they visit each classroom, and each teacher, all of the paras, everybody gets to come out and pick something out the sunshine cart. They normally have like little messages they give us. So just really, it brightens your day. So,
Oh, it's wonderful. I just wondered if the whole thing.
The authentic opportunities for, the authentic audience opportunities. I remember being an instructional coach at the junior high and talking about how important that is to increase student engagement.
Yeah.
And this faculty, this staff just walks it nonstop. They totally get it. They celebrate it. Our kids buy into it, and it makes a world of difference. Not only in, of course, their desire to be here and that sense of belonging, but that really what they're doing does matter, and they do have a reason to be doing it, and it's to share and celebrate with one another and their families and their teachers. So.
I know I'm lucky because my boys got to go here and experience education with 3 of you for sure here, and the value of those that the kids get extends beyond this building.
Yes.
And the
that's
importance of it.
It does. It's,
That's nice.
you may take it for granted because you do it, but I'm not kidding you. This is the best practice down here. It really is.
This is what we're looking for in our strategic planning stuff.
Yeah.
Experience.
I would invite you to come at the end of the day, because I think that's always, we.
Or the beginning.
Yeah, the beginning.
Or the beginning.
We highlight that. But if you watch at the end of the ramp when kids dismiss, every child has a personal touch. The 5th grade teacher is telling each child, "I love you," as they walk out the door. Everyone's hugging each other. That's the end of the day after we've been together all day. That happens at both our
I know.
dismissal
It's
doors.
amazing here.
And that's a powerful testimony, I think.
I know.
So,
And again, I just have all the credit to give this crew. I know that the way that they have done things has always been quite extravagant, and the number of them has decreased as our section sizes decreased. And so that's again a testament to the hard work and how important our faculty here believes in this. They're willing to still continue to do all of that above and beyond on top of the already existing demands of this job. With a skeleton crew, sometimes it feels like to pull off some of these big events, and it's that important for them.
But
So.
I feel like a single section building can make you feel like a family, but that can be a challenge as well, because they might get sick of each other by the time they get used to it, but you guys make them want to be a part of your plan. It's just amazing. Thanks for sharing all those. Thank you. Fun things to do.
I love it.
Thank you.
I love
Favorite
it.
teachers,
you.
and
So
Samantha
much.
Nichols. You can go. I said go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We love you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So much.
Yeah, thank you.
Clint, you're not retired.
Yes, say that again. Louder.
That's how I feel.
All right, thank you, Aaron, for that. So there's no old business tonight, so moving on to new business. First off, we have the approval of our 23-24 school district audit. So Jill, I will turn it over to you.
Yes, this evening I have Sarah Bonsack from Bonsack and Frommo. For anybody listening, we had a meeting before the board meeting and went over things in a little bit more detail. You didn't know you were on camera, did you? But if you just want to give a brief overview of the closeout of the June 30th, 2024 for audit, and then board approval would be appreciated.
First of all, it's super hard to follow that. I tend to end up in that position a lot, but
We have a buddy system.
I'm really happy to be here tonight to present your June 30th, 2024 annual financial report. I'm just going to hit some of the highlights, which are the audit. So when we come out to do the audit, we do 3 different types of audit. The first is the financial statement audit. We've issued an unmodified opinion on your financial statement audit, which is the highest form of opinion that you can receive. The second audit that we do is a government auditing standards audit. The purpose of that is to look at your internal control system and to test it to make sure that it's functioning as it was designed. And the second part of that audit, we look at your compliance with laws, regulations, contracts, grants. We had no findings. The third audit that we do is your federal single audit. This year, the district expended $2.8 million of federal awards. We tested the nutrition program, which was about $1,020,000 of that dollar amount. We had no internal control findings and no compliance findings, so a very clean report for the district. And with that, I'm just going to highlight the revenues and the expenditures this year. For the revenues increased about $4.2 million from the previous year. $1 million of that is a grant that you received for the Regional Innovation Center facility. You also had an increase in state foundation aid this year. And the other increase is in interest. Interest due to available rates increased from 1.1 million to 2.3 million. So quite an increase. And the last is your expense, $3 million. That's primarily in your instruction and support services line items, so those line items that are educating children. It's primarily related to your salaries and benefits that you approved. There's also an increase in interest expense, and that's due to your Series 2023 revenue bonds that were issued in the previous year. With that, any questions that you might have?
Very good report.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Jill.
Thanks.
Do we need to do this?
Yes, we do. So entertain, unless there's any, let's go through motions and we'll do discussion.
I move that we approve the 23-24 school district audit.
Second.
It's been made and seconded. Any discussion or questions for Jill or anybody else on this?
I would just like
Comments?
to say thank you to both Jill and Joe for making this happen. I know your staff. With as much as going on in this district, to make certain that we have a good handle on it, which I feel that we do, is much appreciated. So thank you both.
Second that.
Yes, thank you,
Much
Jill.
appreciated. All my time on the board, it's been
Joe.
very straightforward and it's been nice. So, anything else? Any other further discussion? All right, all those in favor of approving the 23-24 district audit, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right. Audit is approved.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. All right, on to our long-time favorite topic of change
Change
orders.
orders, and we are coming to the end of change orders. I will start out though, I'll go through each building, many of some, they're just all different ones, most of them are on seating condition or even a deduct. But I'll start out, Neil Armstrong, at the end of these change orders, will still have $129,380 in contingency that will be coming back, that we won't need. And so the first one for Neil Armstrong was change order 003, and that's drywall repair. It's not our expense. They're picking it up, and then you'll see later on somebody else had to pay it. The next one was our stormwater reroute for 001, and that's just existing conditions, and they had to do more work rerouting current stormwater. The next one is a deduct. We removed the canopy from the exit of the old gym. E is 002 was us wanting a different sink, and so we replaced the sink, and then there was a floor drain that was required from a state inspection in a new laundry room that we put in. The next one, 003, is we needed solar conduit added, and then part of, we had an exhaust fan that had to get filled in, and so that was the work for that. So that was a result of the fire marshal. Change order 001 is the threshold for existing conditions needed more material in order to cross that threshold from the old gym to the new building. H002 is laundry floor tiling, because we had to tear up the floor to put in a drain. We also had to retile it, so that's what that expense was. Again, the fire marshal requirement. The 003 I is there was a deduct to pay for the first one I told you about for the damage to the drywall, and then there was another additional thing that we needed on there. And then the J is the laundry room expense again, another company, Terrazzo, I'm sorry, there was additional Terrazzo, but that's actually an addition on one and subtraction on another one for the one above, and this was a deduct for Terrazzo. For that. And so the next one was, again, the fire marshal, we had to get rid of the fan, had to go away. So that's what that was. And then there was a matching up diffuser matchup was part of that one. And then that's all of the Armstrong change orders. Again, I know you have to do them one at a time. So that way, if there's any questions I can answer on any of the Armstrong ones before you start doing that, I can do that now.
Any questions for Joe on the Armstrong change orders? All right, we'll get going.
Make a motion to approve the change order 003 to Builder Sales Service Company from Armstrong.
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded. All those in favor of approving change order 3, item B, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Item B is approved. Item C.
Make a motion to approve change order 001 to Central Excavating Inc. for Armstrong.
Second.
So motion seconded. All those in favor of approving item C, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? It's approved. Item D.
Make a motion to approve item D, change order 002 to Geesey Commercial Roofing for Armstrong.
Second.
So motion seconded. All those in favor of approving item D, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Item D is approved. Item E.
Item E, make a motion to approve 002 change order to Hometown Mechanical Inc. for Armstrong.
Second.
This motion is seconded. All those in favor of approving item E, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. Item F.
Make a motion to approve item F, 003 change order to Crawford Company for Armstrong.
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded. All those in favor of approving item F, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. Item G.
Make a motion to approve change order 001 to H2I Group at Armstrong.
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded. All those in favor of approving item G, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? It's approved. Item G is approved. Item H.
Make a motion to approve item H002 change order to Allied Construction Services Inc. for Armstrong.
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded. All those in favor of approving item H, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Item H is approved. Item I.
Make a motion to approve item I003 change order to Tricon General Construction Inc. for Armstrong.
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded. All those in favor of approving item I, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. Item J.
Make a motion to approve item J, change order 003 with K&E Flatwork Inc. for Armstrong.
Second.
Motion and seconded. All those in favor of approving item J, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. Item K.
Make a motion to approve item K, change order 002 with Doug's Heating and Air Conditioning Inc. for Armstrong.
Second.
So motion seconded, all those in favor of approving item K, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. Now on to the Regional Innovation Center.
All right, Regional Innovation Center, after these, the remaining contingency would be $166,453.46 approximately. And this would be because of the second greenhouse, remember, was fundraised. So on paper, it looks like there would be no contingency, but we put that money back due to fundraising, so. So what we have here is on L, change order number 003 is soil stabilization. M is 008, and that's a fire marshal's request for tamper-proof outlets. I did have a question on that, did we not know that? Only 2 of our sites did the fire marshal say we had to do that in. The other buildings we didn't. So I don't know why, when, or what code one reads and they don't on another one, so I really don't have a good answer. It was not in the drawings to have it, but then when he walked through, he pointed it out, so they all had to be replaced.
Are we
So-
categorizing all this to kind of have an idea of how much money we've had to spend because of fire marshal?
It wouldn't be hard to do that because they're labeled as in a way to do it, but no,
It
we
just seems
haven't
that that
actually,
comes up
but there
like
has
about
been
that.
a number, so.
It's like they should know the codes before they
Inconsistency.
Yes. So the next one is a deduct for eliminating painting. We did not paint the bricks in the greenhouse, and so that was a significant savings there. The next one, that was 003, and O is, we had to move a heater, and so there was expense on moving a heater after doing a walkthrough. P is 004, and that we added a whiteboard we wanted, so that was our request. And then Q is a deduct, because when they put in the foundation, there was gonna, in the inside of the building, in front of every garage door to make sure nothing hits it, there's the ballards. But because of the way the foundation works, you couldn't put the kind of ballards that we had, so we're not putting those in. We may put some ballards in later, but we're not gonna do it part of this project, so this is the deduct for installing those ballards. And then that's it for the regional center.
Only $8,000 for that?
That's just the install. We own all the ballards.
Still.
Yeah.
All right. Question on the outlets. What was the other building that?
Neil Armstrong, we ended up putting tampered ones in.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Any other discussion for Joe on any of the Regional Innovation Center change orders?
If you wanna know what a tamper-proof is, it's just harder to plug it in.
I bought some by accident.
You can't accidentally plug something in, though. You gotta push the plug in there. So if you ever read, why is it so hard to put something in? Because you now have a tamper-proof plug-in.
It's supposed to be safer or
I learned that.
something.
It's a narrower gap and
It's
harder to
amazing.
push your plug in.
Which is
It probably is
unfortunate.
harder to pull it out than too, once it's in,
I
it
get,
can't
yeah,
get
yes,
pulled out.
correct. It
easily.
won't fall out easy,
Yeah.
but that's really the difference.
Because that person's interpretation cost us $23,000.
Correct, correct, yep.
Yeah, it's
That's unfortunate.
sad.
Any other discussion? All right. We will start round 2. Item L.
I motion that we approve change order 003 with McCarthy Improvement Company at the brick.
Second.
So motion seconded. All those in favor of approving item L, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, item L is approved. Item M.
I motion to approve change order 008 with Shaw Electric for the Regional Innovation Center.
Second.
So motion seconded. All those in favor of approving item M, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Item M is approved. Item N.
I motion to approve change order 003 with Prime Construction Services for the Regional Innovation Center.
Second.
So motion seconded. All those in favor of approving item N, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. All right, item O.
Motion to approve change order 002 with Climate Engineers for the Regional Innovation.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. Item P.
Motion to approve change order 004 with Precision Builders for the Regional Innovation Center.
Second.
It's been motion seconded. All those in favor of approving item P, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. Item Q.
Motion to approve change order 005 with Centennial Contractors.
Second.
Innovation Center.
Second.
Motion seconded. All those in favor of approving item Q, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. All right, on to the junior high.
Just 3 for the junior high. Their contingency will remain $61,874. Allen Shepherd, we don't have any change orders for. Their contingencies are remaining $177,624. So when you combine all of them together, we're at $535,331 that was not spent on a contingency for those projects. So the 3 we have for junior high is the fire marshal, and you're aware of the door. We had to add actually 2 different doors, and this is one of the doors added for 04, R, and then S is more work on that for the door, and then an unforeseen condition. And then we actually had less asphalt than was in the project, and so we get a credit back on for T006.
So that extra money we can use towards solar, we can use towards
Correct.
land
Well,
purchase,
you know,
or
there's-
whatever was within the bond.
Within the bonds, correct, yep. And remember, that was one that as we try to finish up the solar, we'll see how much left do we have, and land purchase would be the one last thing that was within that would potentially be applied to it, so, yep.
All right, any other questions for Joe on the junior high change orders? All right,
Make a motion to approve change order 004 to the junior high to Rock River Inc.
Second.
so we have motion seconded. All those in favor of approving item R, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, motion passes. Item S.
Make a motion to approve item S 003 change order to Allied Construction Services Inc. for the junior high.
Second.
Been motion and seconded. All those in favor of approving item S, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. Item T.
Make a motion to approve change order 006 to IRIG Works LLC for the junior high.
Second.
So motion and seconded. All those in favor of approving item T, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. Item U.
Yeah, item U is, we had to put that on there. One of our requirements of a report that's due is that this policy now has to be annually reviewed. The last time it was reviewed was in 2019, and so we need to get an updated review on it. And so I had to put it on there so we can finish that report and get it uploaded. And so it's just on there for your information, and if you had any questions, we're not called in. But it's so now there's a number of policies that we do annually, and that will end up getting added to the annual review cycle, so that's why it's on there.
All right.
So it wasn't actually modified last year, it was just reviewed or?
It would be, yeah, we'll just put on the bottom, when you go to the bottom, last time reviewed, we need to have it say 2023 to 24, and so, and I think ours says 2019.
It says 23. Yeah.
Oh,
I think that's when it got uploaded
that's
to the
what
board
it-
docs.
Oh,
Oh, it says last
it should say
modified by
24.
Trina on January 26, 2023.
So you need a motion to review this?
Yeah, we're just reviewing it, there's no,
Oh, so there's no
we'll
motion.
just put it
Oh, it
on there,
says
yeah.
board.
You're not approving the
Okay.
policy,
Okay.
I just wanted it on here so we
Right.
can do it, so.
Got it. Thank you.
Joe, you do have on here
Board approval.
board voice vote.
Yeah.
Oh,
It
okay.
says it here.
Trina knows what we're doing, so.
Action, so
It could be, yeah.
make a motion to approve the annual review of long-range needs assessment policy.
Second.
We have motion and seconded. Any more discussion on this one? All right, all those in favor of approving the long-range needs assessment policy, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. All right, on to superintendent's report.
All
Joe.
right, legislative update, we have SSA is probably the big thing we're waiting for. Tomorrow, we're going to the Day on the Hill, which was my second point, so we will get some better ideas. What we're hearing is, we know the governor proposed 2%. We heard Friday that the House was looking at 3%. And we didn't get a number from the Senate, but the Senate was gonna be less than 2%. Obviously, that's a huge impact because 2% new money really brings us no new money for SSA. There's new money in other areas, but not SSA, where 2.5 would have $100,000 new money, and 3% would have $200,000 new money. 3% is probably as high as we could ever get, and that's probably not looking really good. 2.5 and 2% are the two most realistic, and time will just tell on that. a lot of bills out there right now, but there's always a lot of bills before they get to final week and before, they're gonna get subcommittee hearings. We just don't know what's gonna go through. Less educational bills than the last couple of years, but there's still quite a few out there. I mean, that's just the nature of it. Nothing really alarming at this point, other than we would love them to settle SSA as fast as possible. They have until February 14th by law, so hopefully they get it done for that. Jill and I will go and meet, have a meeting with this Bliss, I always say it wrong, but they do a great job. They bring in our data and the most up-to-date data from the state so we can really start looking at the budget process. Jill does a lot of that herself anyway. It's just a good second look from somebody else's perspective. And so, even though we're not members, we're still invited to that annual meeting. And so we typically go every year just to get more information. And so we'll be doing that Thursday for that. And so excited, 4 of us are going tomorrow to Day on the Hill. We went bright and early at 6 a.m. so we'll be there for 9 o'clock. And
Thanks for representing
yeah.
everybody that's
Yes,
going.
thank you.
Yes, thank you.
It'll be good. So, for that, so we're looking forward to it. So, I believe Carrie and Stephanie are both driving with me. We're from the bus garage, and Frank's driving up himself because he has meetings the next day too, so, for it. So, yeah, we have that coming. Just a strategic plan update. So far, I think all the meetings have gone really well. I got the report back from our visioning, the history, the walk that we did. That we will be setting out and going on. This week we have just around 20, maybe a little bit over 20 families in the secondary, 20 families in the elementary, and then SIAC will be meeting Wednesday, so we have 3 more of that daily experience. And then we have our strategic planning committee meeting for 3 hours on Thursday, which doesn't include board members, but that's another strategic plan. So a lot of work so far. All of them have been great. It's been phenomenal using the new Regional Innovation Center. It is a really nice meeting area to get the space that we need.
That's
So-
really good feedback from families. that you've
Yes,
gotten so
yes.
many.
Well, thank you guys to people who've gotten people to contact me,
wonderful.
and so I'm glad we're getting up into that number.
Yeah.
And so excited about that, and excited about the work that we're continuing doing there. And then including in your packet is the upcoming board meeting, just because March gets a little different. There is a March meeting on March 3rd, but that's a finance work session. That's where we hope we have enough information, and we are planning what our mill rate will be and what our budget looks like, because within 2 weeks after that, by law, we have to forward it to the county so they can send home that piece of paper and have those public hearings that happen right after spring break. So remember that there's that whole new law, and that's why them getting SSA done and those things done is important. And then March 31st is our really only board meeting, and it's later, partly because there was 5 Mondays and coming right off of spring break, and spring break's later, it's hard to have a good board meeting, and there is some things going on, so that'll give us time for that. So it is different than in the past that it is the 4th Monday, not the 3rd Monday, and March 3rd has always been our standard finance committee meeting as a whole to really planning for next year's budget. So that's all I have for tonight.
So we still have our 2 standard February meetings?
Yep, February standard, yep.
Any questions for Joe? I would just want to thank everybody for reaching out and getting families signed up to participate in that strategic plan, and look forward to seeing what comes out of that. So I think we saw a little bit of what potentially could come out of that tonight in our John Glenn presentation tonight. All right, moving on to board comments and correspondence. I had a couple things written down here. Holiday party, we had to cancel that. Are we, or Joni,
Yeah.
still wanting to host us, or
Yeah, it's a matter of when we
Yeah.
can't.
maybe we can turn it into a Valentine's Day? kind of get,
Say
Yeah,
it
could
would
you-
be anything,
yeah,
we
why
did
don't you do
something
that,
small,
John?
we
I
could
think
all
you
get
said
together.
like maybe a Sunday,
In the afternoon or
small.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
Let me put something together so
I
we
like
can
that.
list serve
I like
everybody.
that.
That's a good idea.
And do that.
All right, and the other thing I had to, when I called around, and Frank and I were talking, and I'm sorry if I steer thunder a little bit on this, Frank, but the board docs and stuff is switching, so I might be reaching out to you, to switch programs that we use for our system.
I'm just getting used to this one.
I know, this one could be a lot better, but anyway,
Another
that might be
system.
some, Frank, if you wanna add more to that.
The only thing is that I know I had just happened to run across Michelle and training a little bit about board docs, and because another program out there is an affiliated program with ISB, Assembly. They actually sponsored a reception for a conference that I went to last weekend. So I stole some of their stuff. I was able, and I appreciate that Board Docs has been bought out by come out with a new IT program. And because of that, there's going to be a migration. There's an increase in money because of that, which typically happens when you get upgrades. And I just suggested to Michelle and Trina, would we be interested in have Assembly? So you got Board Docs called. I got to sit in and see what their migration was and what they had to offer, and we were able to throw out some questions to them, which I think you got some of the answers back. And then Assembly gave a presentation as well, and Joe came in and took a look at it, and we got a price. So I know it's basically in the ladies' hands, I guess, to find out what they feel is going to be most beneficial for this district. And I think Joe and I had a little discussion before the board meeting, and it all depends on what I guess the board would like to see and ladies feel that we should use for our district. So leave it there as far as.
You're gonna learn a new interface one way or another.
Yeah,
Board
it's gonna be done. I will just say.
So you're gonna have to learn a new interface.
Yeah,
So
I will just say that the Assembly is a program that I use with the ISB, and they're the affiliated programs. And there are a lot of different, what I want to call it, platforms that we can use. One of them happens to be the evaluation, and it comes right out of the state evaluation form. A lot of it has been done because Joe has done some downloading, uploading the stuff and giving us the report, and then we have to send it in. This is all put together, and it can be used for more than just the superintendent's evaluation. There's a planning stage that kind of intertwines with our strategic plan. One of the things I like about Assembly is that when we went through all these, some of the stuff on our board agenda, if there's any board policies that link to it, you link it right there, and then people can see what we're doing and why we're doing it. So here again, it's another IT program, a lot of benefits. We're going to be seeing something new, and I'm just throwing that back.
So what I asked the office to do is there an advantage over one over the other from a work perspective? How much work do you have to do? What does it say? There are some advantages for like our primer, the automatic and Assembly. So there are some advantages that way. If in the end, they would say to me, we really don't care which one or the other, then it comes down to more discussion on what are these modules, like evaluation. You know, is this, because we use the school board and it's the same standards, if this is a tool that you really want, then to me that would start tipping the edge. And so I think they have to come to the decision on which one do they believe is going to be the most efficient for their major work that they do.
Cost-wise. You bring it to us.
There was only
No, thank you. Anything else?
I guess I'm going to ask Joe for his recommendation. You know, going through all the building stuff that we've done, and I know each one of us have had some issues with some of the change orders. Why are we paying for this? Why are we paying for that? I understand when you have a fire marshal go through, I mean, it's something that's got to be done. My concern with the fire marshal, though, is if we have one fire marshal, do we have two fire marshals? Aren't they going to the same school? And is that something we take to our legislator? Because I know when I was in the legislative, there was another issue with a different part of Iowa government that also had that type of stuff, depending on who came out and observed, and it changes. And my feeling is if that's a governmental type thing, that can we stress something? I mean, here's the book. Why is there two interpretations?
Yeah.
Can't you train these people a little bit? I mean, why is this happening? I mean, why do we have 2 or 3 of our projects we don't have, you know, the plugs, but 2 of them we do? And like you said, $25,000 is going to change order. I mean, that's not just peanuts.
I think those are great conversations. I'd like to get all of our project paperwork completed 100% before I start asking some questions, because
They can
I'm
always come
sorry,
back.
part of me feels like we've been under a microscope.
Yep.
Partly because, and I said, I wish I wouldn't have brought the city involved in Lancer Stadium. I think that put us under a microscope, and I'm thinking we were under a microscope. And I'd rather get out and be done and then go, well, tell me how this works. Why
Right.
should it be like this?
Yeah.
And, is there interpretation enough here that's really costing taxpayer money? And we're all taxpayers. They work for the taxpayer, we work for the taxpayer. And I want to build a safe building, don't get me wrong. That's an actual code.
Right.
And so.
Well, and that's
We're
unfortunate,
handcuffed.
Joe, that you have to be cognizant of that retaliation instead of having to healthily handle